after my reviews of Shadowrim and Shadow Sun, which is Skyrim and Dark Sun for ShadowDark, Chubby Funster contacted me, said, "Thank you for the reviews. Have you seen my new original campaign setting, Terra Invictus?" And I was like, "No." So instantly I bought it and I thought I'd check it out. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been playing it solo in the evenings. And wow. Let's not tell you exactly how I feel. Let's get into where you can buy it. Let's go through the book together. Then I'll give you my final thoughts at the end of the book. So is this another campaign setting that Chubby Funkster's absolutely smashed? Or is this something that maybe you should just let slide by? So let's just jump straight over to Drive-Thru RPG, which is a place where you can pick up the book. So here we have the Terra Invictus campaign setting. So this is Chubby Funkster's original, completely made from scratch campaign setting. If you do want to buy this, or let's say, okay, let's stick with if for now. Please do use my affiliate link. It does help me pay for things like this. So I don't get these books for free. So I do pay for these out of my own pocket. And then obviously, if you can use my affiliate links for this or any books on Drive-Thru RPG, it just help me bring more books to the channel so I can do these reviews for you. So the book itself, we've got the cover artwork. It's 248 pages, so it's a big book, and it's currently on discount. Whether it still is on discount at the time that you watch this, if it's not, I apologise. It's currently PDF only at the moment. Greg has told me that it is coming at some stage, but whether it comes out in time for the price hike that is coming through Drive-Thru RPG for especially the American market, I don't know. So it's PDF for now, but it will be coming. And as soon as I am aware that it's coming, I'm sure there will be comments on the ShadowDark Facebook groups, but also I'll do a short video just so you're aware it's available. So what's included in this book? So it's a staggering geography, so explore 330 key hex locations with badlands, biomes, and there's 25 different settlements. Informed choices, so you're going to have to make tables. There's lots of rumour tables in there. 117 deities. Yes, he's created 117 original deities to follow, and devotion rules and acts of devotion that replace the carousing rules. There's 33 new monsters in the book as well. Then he's got 10 actual powerful villains. So these are sort of end-level boss-type creatures, and 5 dragons, each with their own motivations and goals. Dynamic encounters within the game. There is hex crawl information. You can run it solo. I kind of wish this had its own category in here. So it has got this just little bit here. You can run the campaign solo from 1st to 10th level. And then finally, we've got into ShadowDark, and many of the hexes have dungeon locations that you can build your own dungeons using the ShadowDark core rulebook, or as I would recommend, pick up Chubby Funkster's GM guide. It's so much. Am I allowed to say it's so much better than the original core rulebooks? Well, I've said it now. It just is. It just takes the core rulebooks and just ramps it up to 10, and just makes the dungeons a lot more interesting. I think they're not quicker to build. They're slightly longer, but you will have far more interesting encounters and dungeons by using the Chubby Funkster, say the Games Master book. Again, if you want to buy that, please do use my affiliate link. Right, so let's take a look at the book itself. So here we have book 8. It's 248 pages. Terra Invictus, a campaign setting. And you just open here, so it's different actually to a lot of what I'm now classing as ShadowDark artwork on the front, because we're used to the sort of the black background with the white writing. But this, I think it does completely impitulate is that the correct word? I don't. Sometimes you say words and go, is that the right word? It does really cover the vastness of the world and just looking out on what you can see as a player. So it's written by Chubby Funkster. Here we got Greg Christopher, who's the writer, designer, layout, god creator, hex creator. So that apparently he has a full-time job as well. So I don't know where he finds time to do all this. The contents of the book, it is hyperlinked in here, which I find incredibly helpful for sort of zooming around the book. So the open table of contents we've got using the book, so that's how the book works, where to start, etc. Notations, you're going to want to print off that page when we come to it. Rules on solo play, lawful deities, neutral deities, and chaotic deities. So out of the 117, you can have lawful, neutral, and chaotic. Pilgrim rules as well as actors' devotion, and then the rest of the book is pretty much locations, cities, how all the hexes work, and then we're getting to the back of the book. We've got monsters, so his original monsters. Original for ShadowDark, I should say. Some of them aren't actually original monsters, if that makes sense, but obviously original stat blocks, and then the 15 sort of powerful villains and dragons at the end of the book. How to use the book is, so this is the section that you're going to need to take into account. So there are villains in the game and they are more powerful, so they are going to be written in this slightly darker red, I think, color. So most monsters are going to be written in black, and then anything is in red, so is they're sort of more unique and can be more powerful. Variety of random tables in the book, and also rumours when you get to some of the locations. There is, obviously, you're going to need the core rule book in here. The gods do replace the gods in the ShadowDark core rulebook, so it is a completely separate core setting, but obviously you're going to need the core rules to run. Each location will have its own notation, strategy, how to use it, the guide for standard play as well as solo play, and it quite nicely gives you 3 different starting towns to begin, and you will begin at level 1. So that's it. It covers the ShadowDark rules here. So it does say, use the ShadowDark random dungeons creators. I wouldn't. Well, I'm not. I've been using the GM guide by Chubby Funster, which is just such an expansive and better way of creating dungeons. Notation. So this is the page. Well, these 2 pages you're going to need to print off, because you're going to reference these an awful lot, whether you are running solo play or even, running it as an adventure or a campaign setting for your players. I should say, I'm not going to have any spoilers in this review. There may be spoilers, accidental spoilers, how I class them, but as a general rule, there's not going to be any. But obviously, as we flick through the pages, there may be a few minor spoilers, and obviously if you pause on a page too long. But each location, so I'll just scroll on and then come back so I can just show you. So pick this location here. So it's got different iconography in here, and this, so things like hill country, this is the army that's in there, sort of random encounters and stuff. But so what you do is you print off this, or memorize them if you're a genius, and this will tell you what's going on in each section. So so this is the weather, which is, in general, you'd read the weather first, and then something might have a first look, which is this eyeball circle. So this is the thing you should pay attention to. Then we've got discoveries, enchantments, NPCs, any sort of ground transport or water transport. So a lot of the major towns and cities have so it's how you can move from different locations. Any specific temples, any rumours in there. So some are specific rumours. Other locations actually have a D6, or some of the big cities actually have a D20 rumours. And the rumours will create adventures and campaign ideas. Throughout the book, there is it is a campaign that's actually built in to it. Again, I don't want to spoil or get into any of that, so you can discover it for yourself. But even if you don't want to use that, there's so much in here that you can just create your own, well, not create your own world, if that makes sense, but there's lots of little rumours in towns that are going to have side bars and side quests that you're going to be in this book for a very long time. Secret agents, any sort of trade you've got there, the military might, any sort of combat encounters, villains, if there are villains there, it does warn you, and obviously you've then got the link, so you can just link through to the villains section here. The dungeon entrances, obviously you're going to need to build that yourself, any camp events, traps, and treasures. It also does come with this map, and as you'd imagine from Chubby Funkster, It is a, oh, let's just get rid of that. It is a hex crawl map, and it's easy to read. So it's sort of like 27s all the way across, then, you know, says 28, 29 all the way through into the 40s going down, and then across is 20. I don't know why I'm teaching you how to hex crawl. I'm sure people can read numbers, but each of the numbers on this map will correspond to locations, as you'd imagine in here. So looking at 2916, so the weather there is overcast and gloomy. This is the first look, so you'd read this bit first. We've got a couple of people that, you know, may attack them or encounters, then some random encounters which we'll go through. So 2916, I just need to go back to here. 2916, so we go 2916, so we're here, so just across from Landress. And it's as simple as that for the hex crawling. And it just means that the players can move one of 6 ways when they are sort of moving around from encounter, location, etc., where they're going. That is technically how you run each of the sections, or hexes, we should say. We've then got 4 pages including an example of play on how to solo. And so I'm not going to go through the solo rules, but the solo rules in here, I'm not a big solo player. I say I'm not a big player. I'm becoming a very big solo player with the amount of sort of books I'm now reviewing. I'm playing an awful lot solo. And this is, I keep going to review books and I keep coming back to this book to play a little bit more and discover more of the world. Again, more probably spoilers on where my final thoughts are going to be. But this will just take you through the order in the things that you do, and then the DC ratings to discover the trade and the rumours, and say it will just give you an example on how to play it. Deities themselves, they will have, whether they are major, demigod, or minor deities. So there's what did we say? 117 deities, which is just huge amount. But they will have then a portfolio, the symbol that the members will sort of, well, it's what they're represented, any sort of personality from the gods itself, then the acts of faith, so people in the world will recognize you as what you do if you are following that religion. Pilgrim, if you want to prove your faith, there are, ignore the random 4d12 for now, but there are random locations, well, not random locations, there are locations for each of the deities where you can go off and go to pilgrimage for them. But there are multiple locations, so it's not just one per god. There are, so it's depending on whether they're lawful, let's say neutral or things, so it will just take you off to different areas. And it does say here, beware, some pilgrim locations may be extremely challenging to reach. So the 4012 here, down for each one, that is just there if you want to randomly roll or create your gods. Well, the gods that you follow, not randomly create gods. So the rules here are for acts of devotion. So the carousing rules are a way that you trade gold in to gain experience to level up faster, and you can do this if you are a religious character or you follow any sort of devotion. It just gives you a different way of doing it as opposed to following the main carousing book rules in the ShadowDark book. You can use your acts of devotion here to gain XP and certain, you know, allies and peasants and stuff that are going to come with you. We'll then look at the geography of the world. So the rest of the book is campaign setting, and it's broken down into northern, well, it's technically almost quarters. So we've got like the northern quarter, the middle quarters, and then the southern quarter, and each area will have different temperatures, different animals here that live in the areas. There are a variety of kingdoms with some plot points here. So this, for example, this kingdom has declared war on their southern neighbors. And so it just builds up as you're going through different locations, an idea of what's gone on in the world. And the thing I found really interesting, especially for, you know, I do talk about this from a dyslexic point of view, it's very well laid out. It's very easy to read. The paragraphs are short, concise. It's all broken up nicely to just be able to take it on. Because I've always struggled with solo gaming of being able to read, take on board, and sort of run characters, etc. So we've got subtropical kingdom climates, the kingdom of Morado, which is the one that Laderond, how I pronounce it, you'll probably pronounce it your own way or the correct way. And yeah, so it's they're going to wars, we've seen more different animals and stuff. We get into the transportation, which is mainly linked by the sort of more prominent cities and towns will have there, and it will just say that the cost to travel in between the places, as well as the gear slots that are available to be able to carry. The rest of the world, the rest of the book, sorry, well, not the rest, but predominantly the book is then divided into the locations and what's going on. Okay, so each location then, so let's take Abercourt here. So this will have random rumours available, but the rumours in general will be linked to things that are going on within here as well. You've also then got, so for each of the locations, you've got the number of residents, how many guards they've got, the percentage of sort of alignment, any sort of racial or cultural shifts as well. Craig has also done shield, coat of arms, and also it gives you the cost to live in the town or the location per day. And then what you say, you're just going to go through here. It is broken up with bits of artwork as well. There are certain NPCs in some of the big locations. I don't really want to spoil it. Some of the locations will have multiple numbers on for the hexes, because that's sort of like a bunched up area. But so here we go, there's quite a large city here with lots of locations and sort of encounter points. And this one's got, what's this got? Actually 3 different temples, which help for the pilgrimage. It's an easier place to go. I'm trying to find a dungeon one now, just so we can see an example of a dungeon. Where's the dungeon one? Are we going to find it? Well, we're going to find dungeon ones, but typically now I'm looking for it, I'm not going to see a dungeon locations. We're actually in quite a built-up area at this moment in time, but we're going to sort of go through, say, as you're going through the whole book. So here's a big city. So this is one of the capital cities, and so this has got an awful lot more going on. And this just then takes the rumours into a D20 as opposed to a D6, and it will have, bigger, larger sort of NPC characters as well. And there's a lot of it like this. It will link it to, I'm trying not to show too much, but this will link it to an area or location you then need to go and find and discover. So it's just all linked in and bought in really well. I was surprised just how, well, it's got that, am I allowed to say Skyrim sort of feel to it, where, in Skyrim, there's, when you're playing the game, there is a big, overwhelming story arc, and it becomes it does become relevant, but a lot of the time you can play the game without really worrying about what's going on in the world, but the world still happens while you're doing things. And it's amazing how a physical book has got that feel to it, that it can just, oh, here we go, here's a dungeon here that builds off actually one of the larger sort of towns, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's got that, just sort of goes on. Don't go here. But yeah, I'm surprised. Well, I shouldn't be, actually, because everything I've read from Greg has just been, say, the Skyrim book, Shadowrim, and Shadow Sun, the Dark Sun books. He's done the same with this, but what he's done with those other books is he's taken an existing IP and adapted it. This is all of his own mind and his own world, which is just absolutely incredible. And I do love the way the random encounters all sort of link in to the area's locations, but they'll also drive and take the players on to another location if needed. It's so I can't even, I probably, well, I do. I know I want to get Greg on the channel and to actually have a chat, because I can't even understand how you can either start this process to, if you're taking someone's existing world, to me it's got to be, I'm not a writer, but you'd imagine it's got to be easier. So he's just created all this, and it's absolutely incredible, especially given the fact that this guy has a full-time job as well. But we've even got all the full coastal regions. So when you look at the map, there's just so much in here. And I probably should have said, as you go through this book, there are hints and tips that this is the start, very much like Skyrim, which was Morrowind, I think, was the very first one I played at university, and that was one of the areas of the Skyrim world. I can't think what the world is called. I'm sure someone will let me know in the comments. But this feels like that he's gone, here's your world, this is where you're going to start, this is what you're going to go out and discover. You can go up to level 10, that's as far as you're going to go, and then he's going to open up, because there's one of the areas that goes, about 20% of their geographical area is in this section. And yeah, it's an incredibly good book. I think you can probably tell that this is going to score very highly. I'm going to come in with it's deeply recommending this book, even as well as the art is in here. I say it's so good that I'm just blown away, honestly, by just how much is in here. And so we've then got the monster section. I did kind of say original monsters. They are original for me for ShadowDark, but there are some original monsters in here within reason. But we've got the Aarakocra, Axebeak. I love Axebeaks. We have my group have deep joy for Axebeaks, because which campaign was it that we did? Rime of the Frost Maiden. And I actually mixed that in with the Storm Giants campaign. I sort of merged them both, and all my players just had their own Axebeaks, and they'd name them, and then they ended up stabling them for quite a long time, and then they came back, and well, yeah, they were still alive, because I'm nice at this. But we've got the Eye Tyrant here, which is what I'm saying about original. Beholder, probably, I would say. But obviously you can't use Beholder, because Wizards of the Coast completely have that is stuck behind sort of copyrights. And Giant Sheep. Excellent. And then we've got the main villains, which I'm going to sort of skip through in there, and then sort of the dragons as well. But yeah, it's absolutely blown away, in all honesty, by how much Greg has thrown into this book. So it's value for money wise, it's absolutely incredible just how cheap it is. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see where it does land with physical copies, especially given the price increases that are coming for Drive-Thru RPG for physical copies. So it's PDF copy only now. I highly recommend this. It's an absolute joy. I say it's brilliant for groups, because of the amount of campaign and information in there. Even if you don't plan to run this, I deeply recommend picking this up, because there's so many adventure ideas and location ideas, and even if you're not running ShadowDark and you're running Councils and Crusades or old school Essentials, you could still easily adapt everything that's in here. And the random, the world itself is just, even in 5th edition, if you want a campaign setting, I don't think you couldn't spend your money more wisely today on a campaign, on an original campaign today that you can get for PDF. It's absolutely amazing. Again, knocked it out the park, Greg. Well done. One day I might say something negative on one of your books, but it's not that day, and it's not come in as yet. But thank you again for writing this. If you are going to buy this, please, again, do use my affiliate link, whether it's now or in the future, whether you want the physical copy. So if you've enjoyed this video and like what I'm creating, please do share, subscribe to the channel. I obviously do have my own Discord, not obviously. I do have my own Discord, Facebook page. I have launched a very basic Patreon, because I'm trying to get the money funds together for a top-down camera, so I can start looking at the books behind me, so it's going to be clear. But yeah, so as ever, if you're still here, thank you for watching. Deeply appreciate everyone that supports the channel, and I'll see you on the next video.